Hi, and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use CHAT GPT to support literacy instruction in K-12 schools. One of the biggest challenges that we have in literacy instruction is ensuring that students are meeting the standards for reading comprehension, specifically the craft and structure standards. CHAT GPT can be an incredibly valuable tool in assessing whether reading comprehension questions address the relevant standards. In this video, I will provide an overview of a common challenge in reading instruction and share some helpful tips on how to address this problem with the assistance of CHAT GPT. So let's get started. So first, let me talk a little bit about the reading standards in California. The anchor reading standards for the Common Core state standards for reading are designed to help students develop the skills necessary to read and comprehend complex texts. The standards are organized into key ideas and details, craft and structure, integration of knowledge and ideas. These standards focus on helping students understand what a text says explicitly, as well as making inferences and drawing conclusions based on the information presented in the text, and analyzing how the text is written and how it contributes to overall meaning. While both sets of these standards are important for reading comprehension, they address different aspects of reading. Key ideas and details are focused on what a text says, while the craft and structure standards are focused on understanding how a text is written and how that contributes to its meaning. In the schools that I support, there is a significant disparity in the amount of time and attention given to different reading standards outlined in the Common Core State Standards for Reading. Specifically, 80 to 90% of reading instruction is focused on the first three reading standards, which address only key ideas and details, with comparatively less time spent on the other standards. This has resulted in an imbalance in reading comprehension skills and a lack of depth in the understanding of complex text. By using ChatGPT to assess whether a reading comprehension question addresses the relevant standards, educators can ensure that their students are being challenged in both of these areas and are meeting the standards for reading comprehension overall. So let me give you a demonstration of how to use ChatGPT to generate questions that are standards aligned for reading comprehension. So consider MLK's letter from Birmingham jail. Write a reading comprehension question that addresses key idea and detail standards 1 through 3 for high school. The more specific that you are with the writing prompt or the prompt here for ChatGPT, the more precise you're going to get a response out of the system. So once we generate the prompt, we click on this little arrow, and then we'll see what the response is. One of the key ideas in MLK's letter from Birmingham jail is his belief that nonviolent resistance is necessary for achieving civil rights. A potential reading comprehension question is as follows. According to MLK, what is the difference between just and unjust law? Provide evidence from the text to support your answer. So that is clearly a what the author is saying type question, which is around key ideas and details. Next, I'm going to ask it to write a question that's a bit more rigorous, one that actually addresses craft in his actual letter. So write a question, reading comprehension question, that addresses the craft and structure standards for high school. And I will click on this. So here's the question. How does MLK use rhetorical devices to support his argument for nonviolent resistance in the letter from Birmingham jail? Cite at least 3 examples from the text and explain how each one of these contributes to his message. So this particular question happens to be around reading standard 5. Notice that this is more about how the author is actually saying what he says in the text. So this is a very quick way to be able to create quality questions or basically create content right from the platform. You can also use ChatGPT to determine whether certain questions are addressing particular standards. This type of tool can be particularly helpful when having a conversation with a teacher where there might be a agreement or disagreement around a particular question type and whether or not it's addressing particular standards. Especially for newer teachers that are still learning the standards, sometimes they need examples of what are quality questions, and ChatGPT can be used to create those in real time on the fly. So that's one use. In this next tip, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to assess student writing. This truly is an unbelievable feature that is available to anyone who uses the system. I'm going to use a released writing prompt and student work samples from Smarter Balanced to demonstrate how the system works. Here is the released writing prompt that I'm going to use. This is a 7th grade performance task, and it reads as follows. Your school has been selected to receive enough money to add tablets to every classroom. The editor of the school newspaper has asked you to write an article about educational apps. The audience for your article will be other students, teachers, and parents, and the exemplars should address the standards listed. So basically, all you got to do is highlight what the prompt is, including the standards, and create a new chat right up here, and then write as follows. So consider the following writing prompt for 7th grade students. Quote, and then I just paste the prompt. Now, I'm going to actually get some student work. So here is a released student work sample that actually does meet the standards for this writing prompt. Or does the following. Student work sample meet the intended standards. And then I just paste that language. I know it seems a little long here to type it in, but it will process it. So let me go ahead and click the little arrow. And so here's the response. Yes, the student work sample meets the intended standards. And it actually elaborates a little bit on how exactly it does that. The student has effectively addressed the writing prompt by discussing the benefits of educational apps on tablets for visual learners, and etc. So you can see it's a nice piece here. But in addition to just determining whether it's meeting the standards or not, you can actually have it provide feedback to students. So, for example, provide feedback to the student. And here is some potential feedback that can go back to the student. It says, great job on the article, and it talks about the good pieces that are in this writing piece, as well as what can be improved. It gives a suggestion, and which is good in terms of what ChatGPT actually assessed this writing piece for, because this is one of the exemplars where the writing response actually met the standards. Let's go to another work example. This one did not quite meet the standards, so I'll just grab the text just to do the demo and ask ChatGPT the same question. So I'm going to go back to this text and just copy it. And I say, consider this writing prompt, and then go back and grab the text again. And I'll paste it. Does the following student work sample meet the intended standard? So I paste it and I hit enter. So this one is an example that does not meet the standards. And take a look, ChatGPT actually was able to make that determination. The student work sample partially meets the intended standard. And you can see that it goes on to say that the student has effectively addressed the writing prompt by discussing the benefits of educational apps on tablets for visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic tactile learners. And then you can see it goes on in there. Very useful. This would most likely be faster than reading the entire article and generating this level of detail for every single student. So this is an example of how teachers can use it, but also in how administrators and teacher leaders can model the use of it for other teachers that are still new to this type of platform. So that's another example. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're just beginning to learn how much we can truly leverage this type of technology to make us smarter in the workplace and help students with their learning. So in my next video, I'm going to basically continue this series. I'm going to give you some tips on how to use ChatGPT for mathematics instruction and how to use it for science instruction, as well as some other topics. So stay tuned. I hope this has been helpful to you.